Evening, everybody, and welcome to the Rangers Journal podcast. I'm your host tonight, Scotty, and I'm joined by new addition, Stevie and Kai, the owner of the brand. Kai, how you doing, mate?
I'm very well, mate. It's nice to finally be on. The boys have been smashing it so far, so nice to go on and experience it for myself on the other end.
Good stuff. Stevie, how you doing tonight, mate?
Very well, mate. Looking forward to the weekend, especially tomorrow.
Aye, good stuff. Good stuff. We're all excited the night before a game, aren't we? So we're waiting on Bob coming in. He's running a wee bit late, so we'll just we'll make a start. Just briefly, Kai, I'll come to you first. What was your overall thoughts on a game on Wednesday night?
I thought it was a big game to kind of prove a point. Obviously, we were all disappointed with how the first half went. I think in hindsight, obviously the manager needs to rotate, but I think he maybe could have rotated it later on in the game and start with the same team that started at Hearts. But I think he obviously knew he got it wrong, and the good thing about having Clement in is he's not scared to make the changes early. So early enough at half time, then before the 60th minute, getting Sterling on, and that's what changed the game. So I think the big thing for that was being able to go a goal down, come back, and still stay top of the league. It just shows that this team maybe do have the mentality to go all the way. So that was pretty good to see.
I definitely, Stevie. You get any in you want to come in on the game? What was your thoughts overall on it?
I'd echo exactly what Kai said there. I think Clement, he kind of went for the same kind of setup with St Johnstone away, like bring back in Borna, put Ridley back on the bench, but yeah, quickly noticed it wasn't working as we all did. So yeah, disappointing first half, but you know, we grounded it out, we changed it at half time, and they upped the tempo massively, especially after Butland made that. I mean, that save was absolutely pivotal, not just in the game, but maybe in the season. And that seemed to spur them into life. And as soon as they upped the tempo, it made a huge difference. Fairly comfortable by then.
I definitely, mate. Just before we bring up the average position charts and stuff, just see Kyle come to you on this one. See Jack Butland, Tavernier, Goldson, and Lundstrom. How big are they for Rangers just now?
I mean, even just talk about, obviously, Stephen mentioned that save, like that completely changes the game. Kelly go to and I looked there, we were struggling because we still, as much as we looked better at the start of the second half, we still weren't fully in it at that point. We weren't in control by any means. So Kelly get that goal. They managed to sit back. They're obviously well drilled, hard to break down. So that kind of shows how important Butland's been. And the fact he's even in contention for the England team shows the level of performance he's had this season. And I think maybe not been Golson's best season. I think he's still playing well. He's obviously had a couple of shaky moments. Tav, again, exactly what the title of the pod is. Tav does what Tav does. He steps up. So there's obviously the replay shown of the free kick he scored a few years ago away at Rugby Park that's almost the same. He's been so good this season, and it's not even worth thinking about where we'd be without him. And then kind of moving further up to Lundstrom, I think he completely dictates the tempo of how we play. And I think much more from the start of the season, he's more willing to kind of get forward. I think it's strange that he's playing better, I think, with someone that plays further forward. So he actually has more space to kind of drift back. Whereas I think as much as him and Jack worked well together at certain times, Jack drops into similar positions that he does. So he doesn't have the space to drive forward. Whereas if it's Lawrence or Diamanda next to him, they give him the space. They move into different areas and let Lundstrom do what he does. He keeps the ball moving, and I think he's been brilliant this season. Deserves a new contract.
I would have to agree with that, mate. I would have to agree with that. I think the partnership between Goldson and Souters finally showing fruits, if you want to call it that. Stevie, do you think that's our centre-back partnership going forward?
Yeah, definitely. I think we all knew when we signed Souter. We watched him obviously for Hearts and for Scotland. He was really impressive. Obviously, his first season was pretty difficult, but you see he's kind of grown into the jersey. He's so impressive. I like the fact that he starts moves. You know, he's no fear to take the ball and push the game up, 40, 50 yards. His diagonal passing is really good. He's a really good football playing defender and the best Scottish defender or Scottish centre-back for my money. So I can see him being there for a good few years.
Guys, John Souttar making the Euros?
You should do, mate. I love John Souttar. I think my most liked tweet ever was before before one of the times we get hammered at Parkhead, I said today's the day John Souttar's going to prove he's good enough to play for Rangers, and that's obviously the one who makes the mistake. But for a fan since he came in, obviously Stevie talks about how good he is on the ball. Like there's no other Scottish centre half. Like, I'm not counting playing like Kieran Tierney or Robertson at centre half. There's no Scottish centre half that comes out with the ball as well as he does. He's a brilliant passer as well. You obviously see it for the Dessers goal at the weekend. That's a ridiculous ball for anybody. Never mind your centre half playing that across. Should make the Euros. I think again, can I echo what Stevie says? He's here for the long haul. He seems to have kind of cut out those wee mistakes he had at the start of the season. I think getting a run of games and keeping fit's been pivotal for him. But I love John Souttar.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Right, we will bounce into the slides. So our starting lineup Wednesday night was Butland in goal, Tavernier, Goldson, Souttar, Borna Barisic. That's a bad word just now. John Lundstrom, Mo Diamande, Tom Lawrence. Right mid was Ross McCausland, left mid Oscar Cortez, with Fabio Silva up front. Hey, so Stevie, I'm going to come to you first. First half performance was a bit sluggish to me. Wasn't really up to much. Does anything about that wee chart of you stand out?
I mean, you're right. It was flat the first half. Poor start. Obviously, they got the penalty. But I mean, if you look at that, I mean, the shapes, it's not that bad. It's just, there's not enough bodies getting forward. We weren't getting, I don't know about yourselves, but I felt the midfield was really static. There was no real movement. We weren't getting beyond Silva. I know he got a bit of stick the other night, but he had zero support, no service. So it was kind of difficult for him, I would say. But yeah, there was no movement. And then obviously second half, it was very different. But yeah, that kind of shows, there wasn't really much going forward. It definitely needed changes. And as you've said, Clement made those changes that made the difference.
It's quite congested, isn't it?
Aye, very much.
Probably a word for it. Bob, welcome, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, guys. Thanks for having me along tonight. Some childcare technicalities, so sorry for being a wee bit late.
No, family comes first, mate. Just quickly overall, Bob, what was your thoughts on Wednesday night?
To wrap up in a nutshell, it was a very tough game. Got the result that we needed. Move on to tomorrow against Motherwell, which again will probably be a very, very tough game. So yeah, tough game, but glad we got the result in the end.
Fair enough. Kai, what's your thoughts on this possession chart? Me and Stevie just basically says it's quite congested looking. Have you got any better analysis on it?
I think it just shows me that wasn't really the game for Silva. Like, I like what he brings. He's obviously good at linking up the play. He's good on the ball, but obviously, as Stevie said, the midfielders weren't making the run beyond, so he's dropping deep to get the ball, and all he can do is kind of bounce it back. And then again, he's not the type that will pass that ball back and then make the run, whereas Dessers is looking for that ball over the top. I think it was a perfect game for Dessers, and the chart kind of shows that. I think as well, looking at the left-hand side, I really like, obviously, unfortunately, Cortez looks to be out for a few weeks, but I really like how him and Ridvan kind of work together. Like they kind of interchange where if Ridvan cuts through the middle, Cortez will hang wide or vice versa, whereas Barisic just kind of hangs out a wee bit deep and he doesn't kind of give Cortez the freedom. So you've seen him just kind of floating about the middle, just kind of not knowing what to do because he didn't have that kind of relationship or interchange with Barisic that he's had with Ridvan. So again, obviously, we've said before, I don't think it was the right team that the manager picked, but he managed to switch it about and change it the second half. But it just shows, again, lack of width and not having a kind of focal point up top really hurt us at that point.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. So we're quickly going to touch upon Borna Barisic. I'm not wanting this to turn into a bit of a Borna bashing, if you want to call it that, but it is something we need to address. So, Bob, I'll come to you on it first. Borna does something daft on the lead up to their goal, concedes a foul that ultimately leads to them getting a penalty through the passage of play from the free kick that they get. What are you going to say on it?
I think I would have been more surprised if Borna had made it through the game without a mistake. I think at this stage in his Rangers career, he's susceptible to having at least one mistake a game. I'm not really sure what he was thinking of when he went down. having seen it back on the highlights, I think you mentioned it last night in the Gallant Few podcast as well. It was very minimal contact. Then he takes 2 or 3 steps to go down. For some strange reason, he thinks he's getting the foul. Considering the way the referees are, he probably should have thought twice about doing that before handling the ball. So, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's checked out. I'd like to think he's professional enough to see the season out, because he will play games between now and the end of the season. I just hope that this is the last one mistake that we see again. Probably contradicting myself, saying he's susceptible to at least one issue a game or one mistake a game. But yeah, very, very difficult to see how he comes back in with Ridvan in such good form as well.
Aye, definitely. I don't know if you've seen it the other day, but I watched CJ Novo's post-match reaction, and in the beginning of the video, he sort of does he dives across his chair and he's imitating Jack Butland. But see, when I initially seen it, I actually thought he was talking about Borna Barisic in that film. To be really honest with you, it was that daft of a foul to kind of get away that it mind wanders. Right, so Kai, we'll come on to the penalty decision. Bobby Madden put us up on his Instagram yesterday after it, and he says, so he's reviewing the first penalty decision in his opinion. He says, so clip 1, on-field decision, penalty, VAR, no intervention. And he goes on to say, easy to understand a live decision due to where arm position finishes. At the point of contact, the arm is tight to the body and the defender does not make themselves unnaturally bigger. Difficult to understand why an on-field review wasn't suggested and still a point of contact presented to the referee. If I can identify the image on my phone, VAR should be able to find it with a system that's been costing the clubs well over the year. Kai, discuss.
So I thought immediately, obviously, like Bobby Madden says in that, I think live, I thought it was a penalty. I think it looks like if you only see the end of it, then it does look like a Stonewaller because of how far Lundstrom's arms are out. And then I never seen, like, I tweeted out saying Stonewall penalty, and then I spoke about the others two. And then, like, having not seen it back, and then I watched it the next day, and I'm like, well, it's not a penalty. Like, again, it's difficult to understand. We'll obviously talk about the other ones, but that one, even just to start off with, why is the referee not asked to go and double check it? Like, it's what VAR is there for. Like, it's supposed to help the referee. And now all he's getting is dogs abuse for getting that decision wrong when no one sitting in that studio or wherever they're sitting's helped him. Like, that's what are they doing if they're not trying to help the referee? Like, it's supposed to stop these kind of decisions, stop the ref getting abuse, but it's not. They're not using it the way it's supposed to be used. So I don't get it. Like I said, live, seen it the first time, looks a Stonewaller. Obviously, sitting in the VAR room, they have the kind of replays there, so they should be able to see him, go and say to the ref, look, maybe if they're not 100%, go and make the decision for yourself. He doesn't get that chance to rectify what obviously we know now is a mistake. So it's tough to comprehend and tough to defend at the end of the day.
Aye, that's it. Stevie, Philippe come on, he kind of had his say on it today in his press conference when he said that he would like everybody to get in a room, referees, the SFA, all the club managers, and discuss it to try and make it better. Now, that the other night wasn't VAR has been it's a bit like Rangers' first half performance. It's been sluggish since it's come in, and the money we're paying for it, it's not really living up to it, is it?
No, there's no. And if you look at, I know it's a completely different sport, but if you look at rugby and how they broadcast the TMO, you hear the rationale behind what they're deciding in live, like as it's going on, and that makes a huge difference because it brings everybody into it, and you can hear that reason. And we've spoke before about VAR, and it's like, I think it's great technology, but there's a distinct fear. It's like they don't want to take the responsibility. They're scared of the accountability. Whereas if they just put it out there, and you can hear what's getting said, you think, right, okay, I can understand why they're making that decision. I agree with Kai. I think it was a penalty against Lundstrom. But again, the one at the very end of the game, that should also be a penalty. It's very similar. So yeah, why would you not award that? But yeah, I just, like I say, it just needs to be, I don't know, pay them their money, get a better standard of official, whatever they need. But VAR is good technology, but they need, I think what Clement said today is spot on. You know, speak about it, like have like open your lines of communication, make the process better, and the officials will improve. But the referee's scared to make a decision. The guys in the VAR room, they're scared to make a decision. It's like they need to like improve it because the technology is good, but the people operating it, they're clearly not good enough just now.
Yeah, I'd need to agree with that, mate. It's definitely not living up to Berlin. I think it's creating a bit of a culture within Scottish football as well. Bob, I'm going to come into you now.
Sure.
A penalty, right? So penalties given. Jack Butland's standing basically in the net, in a goal net. That's how deep into it he is. The referee tells him to get out and go on his line, and Butland corrects him. What he's doing is right. It's within the laws of the game. It's part of his dive to attempt to save a penalty. How bad is this? How bad is this getting that a goalkeeper's got to keep the referee right on the rules of the match?
Yeah, I think that's it's obviously been highlighted since the game that he had to kind of walk the referee through the fact that he wasn't doing anything wrong. To me, kind of touching on what Stevie said there, we've had VAR in for the last season and a half. The first half of the season, they've already called out a number of decisions. Some went against Rangers, some went for Rangers, and obviously other teams in the SPFL. But again, is this now going to be the second phase where they come back at the end of the season and say, well, actually, we should have given a penalty for the Mayo handball, and we should have really looked at the Lundstrom penalty, at the time. So again, we're paying obviously a set amount of money per team over the whole top division for VAR, and to have the officials that are refereeing matches on a weekly basis be in control of that. Maybe there should be something like that as an independent source to come in, even having some sort of mentor from down south. And I know down south aren't much better, but at least we would have maybe a second objective set of eyes, because these referees are under the spotlight every week, and it's difficult enough for them to make decisions on their own in the middle of a game. To then go to VAR, it's maybe magnifying the problem. So yeah, to go back to your point about Butland, it's slightly ironic that the keeper and the player themselves have had to say to the referee, "Look, I'm not doing anything wrong. As long as I've got my foot on the line when the penalty's taken, I'm well within the guidelines and the rules of what we've been told as players and as a club." So yeah,
that's
strange.
tinfoil. I mean, that's embarrassing for Scottish football. I mean, that's why we get like certain criticism, which isn't justified, but that like a referee knowing the rules, that's unbelievable.
Aye, doesn't surprise me. First thing for me, they need to do is help these give as much as they can and give them full-time jobs to begin with. The rest of it would all kind of fall into place for there. So moving on, Kilmarnock getting 1-0 up. There's not really much to say about the rest of the first half. They've broke it down with a slide, and we've said that it was quite a congested match. I thought Killie were the better team in the first half, if I'm being brutally honest. Second half, there's two changes made. Fabio Silva for Cyril Dessers. Ross McCausland, Dujon Sterling was a wee bit later on. Guy, what kind of difference did the substitutes make?
Just the kind of extra directness from getting Ridvan on. He's obviously more willing to drive with the ball than Barisic is. And like when you go for Dessers as well, he gives you that ability to go over the top. Whereas Silva sometimes makes those runs, Dessers makes those runs 9 out of 10 times. Obviously, Clement likes to get the ball forward quick, likes centre halves to kind of try that ball over the top. So Dessers again gives you that option. I think with Sterling coming on, it wasn't McCausland's best game. He looked a wee bit off. I do think he needs a bit of a break. I think he's been kind of running in the ground since he came in, purely from lack of options. So Sterling just gives that pure athleticism, and again, he's direct. Like he'll run with the ball, he'll get us up the pitch. I think that was the difference. We managed to play a lot higher because we had players higher up the park. We had much better spacing the second half as well. Like I said, Dessers will pull off, go beyond. Ridvan and Cortez kind of swap between cutting inside and cutting out. So I think it's just a much better balance kind of caused the performance. The subs positionally, more than anything, kind of opened the game up a wee bit and let Rangers play the way that Clement wants us to play.
Yep, definitely need to agree with that. I think they all made an impact when they come on. Stevie, I'm going to come round to you on it now. Substitutions come on, Rangers start getting a bit of a foothold in the game, start making chances. Tom Lawrence goes wide with a shot but gets pulled down for a free kick. I suppose hence the title, Tav does what Tav does.
It's like Roy the Rovers, isn't he? Just never lets you
Aye.
down, really. He just steps up and boom. I mean, you get that free kick, and I don't know about you, but I was expecting him to score. I was like, this is a goal. You can see it coming. It's like, he's going to score here. That's what he does, like you say. But aye, great. What a lift it gave everybody. I think as well, like, you come on, I got a lot of credit in the first half. They really were on it. I mean, they were like kicking crisp packets, what going across the pitch. You know what I mean? They were really, really on us. And I think obviously they tired a bit in the second half, and we improved greatly. Sterling's just, I don't know about yourselves, but I saw this image the other day. It was like him in every position. Goalkeeper as well. You could probably play anywhere, that boy. He's got so much about him. Like, we can trust him almost in any position in midfield. And obviously Dessers as well made a huge difference with his runs. But the tempo, with Lawrence, his goal as well. But Tav's free kick was just out of this world. The goalkeeper was a bit cheeky trying to get a hand to it, to be fair to him. But yeah, tremendous.
Aye, it was outstanding. It was some free kick. So, Bob, I'll come into you on Rangers scored 2 quick goals. I think they were within 4 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
Tom Lawrence playing a pivotal role in speeding up play. It's a throw in. Tom Lawrence gets taken down, puts his foot in the ball, makes a quick pass. Cortez carries it, goes into Dessers. Dessers does what Dessers does and loses the ball. It comes off him. Then there's Tom Lawrence there, his sweep home. Who was your thoughts to go?
I've got to say, it was a hell of an assist from Dessers to position himself that way, just to make sure that Tom Lawrence got his shot off. But yeah, I mean, I think it's been going around on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it just now. You know, between the first game of the season and last night, and the speed in which we took the throw in, and I've watched it back and I've seen it obviously through Rangers as well, from that kind of the far side of the goal where it's so quick. We've turned around from that first day of the season where it's lethargic. We're waiting for Tav to take the throw-ins from his side and try to get positional sense and all this type of stuff, to being quick fire, gets the throw in, gets a free kick, takes a free kick quickly, lets Cortez drive through, and then doesn't just stand and watch his pass. He follows it in, and as you say, very good shot drilled into the bottom corner. Hopefully, again, I think from the presser today said that Lawrence is okay. So again, hopefully he plays some part in tomorrow's game. I said probably again come on to later on. I don't know if he'll start or not, but again, we can't well be now. These last couple of games that he's not played, we've not really missed him, fortunately. And again, as we touched on the pod last week, I think Lawrence has grown into his game. I think this is the player that we expected to see when he signed from Derby a couple of seasons ago. So yeah, his celebration kind of said it all. He's obviously taken the club to heart. We've seen him through the injury that he's had over the last year. Clement's doing very well to manage not just him, but all the players that are injured back into the team, into the squad. Again, that's what he kind of touched on in the presser today. Again, apologies if I've gone over all ground, but the fact that everyone's levels have been raised since they've come in, not just mentality wise, physically, it's everything. It symbolised Clement's impact on the team since he's come in. It's how quick that, or how fluid the movement was from, as you said, getting the throw in, getting the free kick, and then getting the goal. I think based on what you said before, it's different gravy altogether.
It almost just seems basic, doesn't it, Bob, that Clement's just tell the players to speed it up in the second half, and they've done it, and they've been 2 up. I mean,
yeah, and again, if I can just touch on Stevie's point, that the physicality in the second half, again, I think at halftime everyone's probably criticising the manager for starting Barisic, but the physicality of Ridvan, he came in, he's played well. Dessers as well, probably the ideal game.
Right.
Silva was maybe just a wee bit off, but the physicality of the team to see that he's made a mistake, maybe not a mistake. He's not got it right, but to be able to see that and change it, and then second half we're just a different team, and it showed with the 2 goals that we got in the space of like 5 minutes.
Kai, I want to come on to you about Tom Lawrence. This is his heat map for the match. I thought it was probably his best game in a Rangers jersey since. I mean, you're looking back against like PSV at Ibrox, Hibs away when he picked up the injury. You're looking as far back as that. To me, he's been managed properly now. We've learned a lesson by putting him in consecutive 90 minutes after 90 minutes after 90 minutes. Come once, gave him his training plan, and I think it's coming up trumps.
I'm not fully agree, mate. I thought it was excellent. I think the heat map kind of signifies the area he picks up in the pitch. He's played out left quite a lot in his career, and you can see that's one of the areas he occupies the most. So he does drift out wide. He gives that space in the middle. So again, it's not congested despite the fact he plays in the 10. He'll drift out to the left, drift out to the right. Because his link-up play is brilliant. I've seen it the first half of the Aberdeen game. Like some of the link-up play between him and Cantwell and him and Matondo was incredible. Like he's just that one-touch pass and just the eye for a pass as well. I just think he's a really, loads of people said this when, like after the game, he's a really clever footballer, which unfortunately we've not had many of the last couple of years. So it's just that level it can kind of bring you up with picking up those positions, the ability to see a pass. One of the best things about him is he's not scared to have a shot. Like he's very good and he's not scared to have a pop at goal, which how often obviously taking Diamande into consideration now, he's obviously had the 2 goals in 2 games. But how often will we just begging for midfielders to just have a shot at goal? And there's obviously no fear about that when Lawrence is in the game.
You're on mute, Scotty.
There's a wee comment there, Kai, if you just want to answer it. Laura's just want to know where she can find the blog or website.
I'll drop a wee link down in the comments.
Perfect. Right, so that takes us perfectly on to the next part of the match. Just a wee reminder that this is the first half average possession chart, and this is the second half. So the first half was very conjectured, just for our listeners in Spotify and Apple. The second half chart we've put up is showing where that we've played a much wider, expansive game. Stevie, I'll come into you on it. See if you look on the sort of the first half. If you look at Bournemouth's positioning compared to Ridvan, it's complete night
jumps
and
straight
day.
at you, doesn't it? Yeah, it jumps straight off the page at you. Yeah, he's basically hugging that. Sorry, Ridvan is hugging the line there. But that's what you get with him. He's so direct, he's so offensive. And what Kai was saying before about Cortez, it's such a pity he's picked up his injury because they just dovetail so well. They've got a really good understanding in a really short space of time. But yeah, look at Dessers as well. Focal point, straight up there, down the middle, where you want him. And that gave other guys like Lawrence and Looney their chance to kind of do what they do. But yeah, Ridvan's he's such an attacking threat. As well, noticing Tav, I actually think he's further up there than what I don't know. From what I remember the night, I remember a couple of brilliant defensive blocks. He was both up and down. He's I don't know. He's just more. He seems to have more control now. Like you said before, you get more cover for the midfield. But yeah, much better width in the second half. It made all the difference.
Aye, 100%. Bob, we'll come into you on it. Do you think the goal has made Tav's equaliser? Do you think that's made a difference to the average possession chart? Obviously, this is for the whole of the second half.
Sure.
So, Dessers has made a massive difference for me when he's come on duty. His physicality kind of ruffled up defenders and things like that. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, again, what you said is, it was probably the perfect game for Dessers. It's just a shame that he only came on in the second half. He never started the game. To me, it looks, based on the chart there, you look at it and go, Tav's goals giving us that wee bit of confidence to go and probably remember, we're top of the league for a reason. We've dug games out where we've not played great. But I do think the second half, as you can see, we're probably far more attacking. We're far more confident going forward, just because we knew we had slightly more physicality up top, which allowed us to drive forward.
Aye, definitely. Guy, I'm going to pass this question to you for Curry for Stanza Ibrox. He's just asking about your thoughts on Ross McCausland. He's not been in his best form, but he's not been great either. Do you think he needs managed better in terms of minutes? I think that's what Clement's doing well.
I think he's done it pretty well. There's obviously only a certain extent we can kind of manage the minutes because of the bodies we have. Obviously, we've had Matondo out, Seamer's been out for a while. It looks like Cortez is going to be out. It's hard to kind of manage his minutes, especially depending on how the game's going, where we need John Sterling. Obviously, he can play deeper, he can play on the left or the right. We obviously need to have some down there. He's not, last couple of games haven't been his best. Again, as Curry said, he's not been awful by any means. I don't think he's kind of getting the criticism that someone like Scott Wright does. He still tries to be positive, just the end product's not been there as much. But I think a lot of people forget it's his first full professional season. Like, I know I've seen comments defending, like, people saying he's young, and then people like counteracting that by saying, "Oh, 20 is not young." Like, it is for a guy that's in his first full professional season. Like, players still struggling with their 22, 23 coming into the first team if they've had loan spells or been playing in B teams. So I think he does need managed, but it's tough just now. I think Clement's doing the best he can. I think if we had all our wingers fit and available, he kind of would be getting rotated a wee bit more and have that bit more of a rest. It's just the situation we find ourselves in right now, unfortunately.
Aye, definitely. I think. Do you want to come in, Stevie?
I was just going to say, I think, obviously had a poor game the other night, but he's pretty much played since Clement's came in. It's 3 months of like real consistency. Probably 7 out of 10 most of those games for a guy who's 20. That is really good. That's a decent level. He probably should have been out the team maybe sooner, but circumstances dictated he had to play longer, and that's kind of probably went against him. But I agree with you, Scott. What you're saying there, Clement's managing him really well just now, so I'm sure he'll be back on his top or better form very soon.
Bob, I'm going to ask you a quick question on it while we're on a kind of McCausland debate. We're just about to wrap up the Kelly game and move on to Motherwell, but wingers don't seem to have the best luck with injuries just now. Cortez is out, Seamer. It's probably a list as long as your arm, but I've not got it off the top of my head, unfortunately. But do you think Zach Lovelace needs to be given some minutes as like a direct competition for Ross McCausland on the right-hand side?
Yeah, I think he needs to be integrated back into the squad if he's now back to full fitness. Physical fitness. I know he's had a couple of, or at least one game for the B team against Dundee, same as Kemar Roof. So again, the hope is that he will be integrated. Clement seems to like him. Obviously, he was unfortunate with the injury at St Mirren, which allowed McCausland to come into the team in the first place. So I do think there needs to be that competition. Again, I think McCausland's been managed well. You've got to remember he's still young. He's still gathering game experience. And it was a tough game Wednesday night, regardless. So I do think the way the manager's managing the players, especially the wingers, is as well as he can do at this current moment in time. Hopefully, after the summer, we'll be in a better physical shape, and hopefully not have as many injuries at the top end of the park as we currently seem to have.
I think once Clement gets them all in his own regime during the pre-season, we will see kind of if Rousse's labour he's come in kind of at a bad time and he's just trying to paper over the cracks essentially and make it better. So Kai, just come to you, just a quick answer for everybody on what do you think that result last night meant? Celtic put out a statement, win whether we want, we can't avoid it. I mean, they won 7-1. They closed the goal difference. Half time, they thought they were going to go top of the league. How big is it that we've managed to keep the pendulum from swinging?
I think it just shows that there is really a chance now that these players have what it takes to go and win the league. Like the fact we always knew it was going to be a tough game, but we went 1-0 down, still managed to come back, stay together, get the result. That was all we wanted at the end of the day, get the result to stay top. probably the toughest game we have apart from Celtic again before the split. So, huge, mate. Shows the mentality shift from previous years, and delighted with it.
You're on mute again.
Aye, definitely. For me, it was massive for the squad going forward. Stevie, Rugby Park's had been a wee bit of a hoodoo ground for us in the last few years. Do you think the hoodoo's off our back now? Monkey's off our back. Sorry.
Hopefully. I mean, I totally echo Guy's point there. It's just it was huge. Go back to Buckland's save. That was a kind of key moment in the game. But yeah, we dug it out. We got the 3 points, and Derek McInnes' Killie are a really difficult team to beat. So it was a cracking 3 points. I thought it was kind of funny afterwards. Celtic have won 7-1, but they're gone home gutted. Imagine winning 7-1 and going home gutted. So yeah, great 3 points.
Aye, definitely.
Top of the league.
Aye, definitely, mate. Bob, was that important staying top the other night? Did it send a message? Did you feel better after a win? For me, I was a wee bit apprehensive before. I thought it was going to be a tense, tidy match. I know we'd been playing well, but Kilmarnock always give you a game, especially a Derek McInnes team.
Yeah, precisely, Scott. I think you're trying not to check in on the scores elsewhere, but again, it was very difficult not to see that coming in. I think we'd all agree we're not going to get any favours between now and the end of the season with results. It's a statement win. A statement win. Again, apprehensive because it was going to probably be the toughest tie before the split. I really wouldn't hope that we go back there post-split, but never know what the computer's going to churn out. But yeah, statement win, as Stevie said. The fact that we come away, narrow 2-1 win, we're still top. We've still got plus, one ahead of them on goal difference, 2 points ahead. Yeah, you can't grumble too much. The performance could have been better, but the result was what mattered, and it just shows that for the first time in a long time there is a title race on, and they can't just expect us to lie down like we might have done in previous seasons, or stumble, or capitulate, whatever you want to call it.
Right, so on to tomorrow's match. Tomorrow's match kicks off at 3 o'clock. I think it's on RTV as usual. We've got Motherwell at home. The last result, we beat Motherwell 2-0 at Firth Park Christmas. Motherwell haven't won away in the last 12 matches. We haven't lost to Motherwell in the last 20 league games. Rangers have got the most clean sheets in the league with 17. And that's where I'll stop because I can't see the last wee post-it note. So, Kai, what's your thoughts overall on the game tomorrow? What's your expectations?
I've seen obviously Celtic play Motherwell last Sunday, and I don't think anything to fear there. Obviously, Motherwell had a decent first half. They went in 1-0 up. I think that was just more of a testament to how poor Celtic was. It was obviously a brilliant goal that Spittle scores. A wee bit of magic, which he's more than capable of. But I think having the Ibrox crowd and the kind of form we're in now, I'm not worrying about it the same way I was worrying about Hearts last week and Killie on Wednesday, put it that way.
Fair enough. Stevie, are you expecting a big win tomorrow? Are you just want a 2-0, 3 points over the road scenario?
Yeah, absolutely. Take that right now. But I think from Motherwell's perspective, it's a shot at. They've got a shot at nothing. It's just it's a free hit for them there. Next again games, I think it's Aberdeen, St Mirren, Dundee, Hibs. So it's all teams round about them. So maybe they'll have one eye on that. I don't think there's much pressure on them tomorrow. So they can just turn up back. I don't think it'll be like the Hearts game last week, but equally I don't think it'll be like Kilmarnock. I think it'll be somewhere in between. So maybe 2 or 3-0 to Rangers. Clement just repetition of process. He tells them what to do. They listen, they know what they're doing. I expect us, we'll win comfortably.
Bob, what's your thoughts on the game tomorrow? Do you think we can do what Celtic done on Wednesday night in terms of getting a statement win on board, considering Motherwell's poor away record?
I'd like to think so. I think, again, I managed to catch a press conference earlier on, and Clement, it just shows how much Clement looks into every other team in the league. The fact they said that, based on the data, he was quite interested to find out that Motherwell are the third top team that have scored the most goals. So again, he knows that the way his team sets up will be to attack, but also to make sure defensively we're sound. Which again, I thought was an interesting point. But I do think, even with the good form that they seem to have kind of come into recently, being at home, being at Ibrox, we should be able to go out and get, a comfortable win, put a few goals past them, get the goal difference back up again, and put the pressure on the other side of the city come their away tie at Tynecastle on Sunday, which again is going to be very tough.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So we'll bring up our predicted lineups now. Kai, I'm going to bring yours up first, and I think what you've went with is Butland, Tavernier, Goldson, Suter, Yilmaz, Lundstrom, Diamande, Lawrence, Raheem Sterling, listen to me, Dujon Sterling, Ross McCausland, and Cyril Dessers.
I wouldn't swap those two. I'd keep doing.
What's your thoughts behind it, Kai?
I don't think that's actually my one, mate. I'd had Fabio Silva at left wing for my predicted lineup.
No, somebody's put Scott Wright. I don't know where. That's it. Nope. Right, what was your lineup?
That was pretty much the Butland, Tab, Goldson, Suter, Ridvan, then Sterling and Lundstrom. With Diamande in at the 10, so I wasn't sure if Lawrence was going to be fit. So I'll keep it the way it was. McCausland on the right, Silva on the left, and Dessers up front. I think just kind of having Dessers as a focal point is really key to how we've been playing. And Silva spent a lot of time playing on the left for PSV last year, and they obviously impressed Niles Coppin enough for me bring him back in. So I think it's been interesting that he's not been used in that position, where he obviously impressed enough. So I'd like to see him out there. Obviously with Cortez's injury as well. Like Silva's quick, he can carry the ball. He does the dirty work as well. We've seen the press and he does in the chasing back. So I think have Sterling in the middle with Lundstrom just kind of solidify that, having either Lawrence or Diamande. Diamande's maybe due a bit of a break. It's still technically his pre-season. I think he's done well to kind of get as many minutes in the legs as he has. So swap Lawrence out there or Diamande out there for Lawrence, sorry. And then kind of go with that. It's a bit of pace in each side. The solidity in the middle with Lundstrom and Sterling, because they look to use Theo Bair very similarly how we use Dessers. I think they use the channels a wee bit more for Bair. They'll get him to run the channel and go in behind, whereas we're a bit more central with the direct balls to Dessers. So I think having Lundstrom and Sterling in the middle for that athleticism and bit of bite in there's the way to go.
Stevie, I'll come to you on it. See on Kai's lineup. Do you think we should be going with Sterling and Lundstrom in the middle of the park, considering the challenge at Motherwell will bring us? Or do you think we should be going more with a kind of a 6-9-8 idea?
No, I'm fine with that. I think Sterling offers you that versatility. He can be mopping up in front of the back four, and then a minute later he's charging. He's breaking forward. He's taking the ball. He's moving the game forward. So great player. I don't want to call him a utility player because utility players back in the day were kind of average, whereas he is kind of reminds me of a midfield Bassey. He can just run through Scottish football quite easily. So no, I think he's really good when he finished practice finishing or whatever, but he's got all the attributes to kind of play attacking mid, defence mid. You put him anywhere, even when he came on against St Johnstone down the right wing, he was class. So yeah.
Bob, Fabio Silva left wing. Is that a goal for you?
I'm going to hold my hands up and say I think it was me that put Scott Wright in my starting 11 just to get minutes. So I'll hold my hands up on that one, boys.
We'll get that.
We'll get that one. So I do agree with Kai and Stevie. I think despite him not having a great game on Wednesday night, he's been brought in. I do think he can be an attacking threat from the wing. We've not really seen him out in that position as yet. He's really kind of been played in as the 10 or as the 9. So to see him out in that position on the pitch will be quite interesting to see. especially at home. We've got the width, we've got a team, the crowd behind us. So, I maybe change my mind and see him in the starting 11 rather than Scott Wright.
Fair enough. Stevie, do you want to give the viewers your trivia question quickly? I forgot about it. Bring you in
Yes.
earlier on.
Who captained the Rangers side in 1997 at Tannadice when we clinched 9 in a row? An actual real 9 in a row.
So who captained the Rangers side in 1997 when they clinched the league at Tannadice? We'll come back to it in 5-10 minutes. Right, I'll put my team up now. So I've went with Butland, Tavernier, Goldson, Balogun, because I think Suter's going to get rested for Thursday night. Ridvan Yilmaz. Then I've went for Nico Raskin, surprisingly, considering I've been such his biggest critic recently. I think he's going to get some minutes tomorrow with John Lundstrom. Then I've got Ross McCausland, Fabio Silva in the 10, Scott Wright on the left as well, and I've got Cyril Dessers up front. Anybody want to fire any questions at me about it?
I think based on that, Scotty, it looks as if it's again, with Clement making changes and try to keep everyone fresh. I wouldn't be surprised if I seen that lineup, but
yeah,
I can't. Confident enough. Sorry, Steve, when you go.
No, it's a good balance. Raskin's a funny one because when he came in, I was so impressed, and now, the players that we've signed under Clement, I don't know if he fits the profile. So I think he's got a big few months coming up. He's really got to, when he does get a chance, he's got to take it. So yeah, I hope you're right, Scott, and I hope Raskin plays well tomorrow.
Kai, do you think Silva in the 10 something we could maybe see going forward, considering Lawrence's minutes are getting managed and Cantwell's injured?
I don't see any issue with it. Like I said, obviously I had him out in the left, but I like him in that 10 as well. I do think him and Dessers could link up well together. Obviously Dessers is willing to go in behind, whereas Silva will drop in and get the ball. Then that works really well. I think your side's definitely a lot more well rotated than mine was. I think there's probably more chance it would see the kind of team you've picked than the side I've went with, especially considering Thursday night. So if I see that team tomorrow, I've got no issues with it.
No, fair enough. That was my thinking behind it. My thinking's due to the minutes getting managed for Lawrence and Campbell being injured. Lowry's, we don't know when Lowry's been back. His name's not been lifted since he came back for Hearts. Considering we've seen Silva in the kind of cameo as a 10 anyway. And when he's a 9, he sort of plays as a 10 or a false 9, if that's fair to say. Be good to see a heat map on Silva up top, actually. Right, Stevie, you'll need to correct me if this isn't your teammate, but I think it is. I've got Butland, Tavernier, Goldson, Suter, Yilmaz, and then I've got Diamande, Lundstrom, Lawrence, Stelling on the right, McCausland on the left, and Dessers.
Yeah, I was trying to type that on WhatsApp and I made a bit of a mess. I think I wanted Lawrence on the left.
You'd Lawrence on the left, right? I
think that's what I wanted, but I never typed that. Sorry, my mistake. But yeah, just Lunny and Dio and Stelling kind of midfield 3 with Lawrence pushed up slightly on the left, McCausland on the right, and Dessers through the middle.
Can you see Diamande starting, considering he's in the middle of a pre-season, if you want to call it that?
I think maybe because it was Kilmarnock the other night, it's a difficult pitch when you've not played on it. What happened to Cortez? Obviously Silva had a bit of a bad game. That pitch is difficult, but yeah, I think he'll play. Well, we'll see. I think he might get an hour or so. His 2 games previous, he was excellent, so I hope he does continue to play. But we'll see.
Fair enough. Bob, you happy with Stelling on the right-hand side again?
Again, I think, physicality-wise, he'll run through brick walls, so again, I wouldn't be keen on being a left-back for Motherwell tomorrow.
All right, fair enough. Right, we'll come into yours now, Bob. Don't need to get it up.
Sure.
I think it's this one here. Aye. Kai, you'll need to show me how you get that. It's a close-up because I can't figure it out. So, Bob, you've got Buckland, Tavernier, Goldson, Suter, Yilmaz, Lundstrom, Raskin, Diamande, McCausland, Wright and Dessers. Is that the wrong team, Bob? Is that right?
No, that's the right team. Again, I think just from what we've discussed, I think it's good and bad that we can't really determine what Clermont's starting 11 is going to be, because he is changing every game and keeping players as fresh as they can. So to me, just on that thought, you're going, right, well, who's not really had minutes recently? And that's kind of why I lumped Scott Wright out wide. Again, Dio's not really been seen in the 10, managing Lawrence's minutes. So again, he may not start. That was kind of my thinking behind it, because again, we've considering the way Diamande started last week, if we get a similar start tomorrow, I don't think we'd be complaining. And again, as Stevie touched on, Raskin's really got to start showing that he wants to be in the first team. Again, I know he's getting his minutes managed because he's coming back from injury, but I'd like to think tomorrow could be see him get a start, maybe get 60 minutes and he's under his legs, and hopefully he plays well and kind of shows us a bit more of what he's about.
Kai, I'm going to pass comment to you, mate. Stuart Keen's asked, do you think we're going to see Ryan Jack and Kemar Roof at any point tomorrow?
I think maybe towards the end of the game, I can't see either two of them starting, but maybe 60-minute mark. Obviously, depending on how the game's going, if it's still a tight game, it's not really the time to just get minutes in players' legs. But we are going to need them towards the end of the season. So I think if we're even a couple of goals up come the 60-minute mark, I think there's every chance that they'll come on and get kind of 20 minutes or half an hour in their legs.
Aye, fair enough. Stevie, Hugo Bell in the comments put us up earlier. She's expecting a comfortable win tomorrow. We needed the physicality away at Kelly. What's your thoughts? We'll just go round with predictions now. So what would your prediction be for tomorrow?
I usually say 3-0, so I'm going to go 3-0 again. 3-0.
3-0. Any goal scorers?
Yeah, Dessers will score 2 and he'll probably miss about 8. But he'll cause havoc. I'm really looking forward to, obviously we'll look forward to all fun games, but I think their defence must be like really worried about Dessers. I know like he's got your critics and whatnot, but he causes carnage. He's a real unity guy.
I've been getting pelters in the podcast since January because I wanted Shanklin in and Dessers out. But for me, it solidified my belief there. Night Shanklin caught a pie mid-air and took a bite and plunged it back at Hibs fans. I mean, what else do you want? They're a Rangers number 9. Do you know what I mean?
Keep Dessers and get number 19.
Bob, what's your thoughts tomorrow?
I'll go 4. Again, if Roof is back in the squad, because obviously wasn't getting this on the past the pitch, hopefully get some more minutes under his belt, even if it was 20 minutes, half an hour. He's always good for a goal. It could be argued he's always good for an injury as well. So again, I'm hoping that the former's the one we see tomorrow if he gets a goal. Maybe sticking a cheeky tab penalty. We've not had a penalty for a couple of weeks, so I'm sure that'll get the other side of the city chatting away if we get another penalty at home. And maybe another Diamande, stud roll and hit it from edge of the box. So aye, and your choice for the 4th goal scorer, I don't mind as long as we get 4. I don't have any mind.
Kai, what about you? What's your prediction, mate?
I'm going to go 3-1 win. Relatively comfortable, probably concede the last 10-15 minutes. Be a Blair Spittler, Theo Bair goal for them. Going to agree with Stevie. Cyril Dessers double, and then Silva a wee confidence booster for him ahead of the European games and other games coming up.
Fair enough. I'm going to go for 4-0. Solid performance. Hat-trick of Tavernier penalties. Dessers misses an opening goal. And who's going to get the 4th? Ross McCausland, because he's been getting stick. So just back to the trivia quickly. Stuart Keane actually answered it relatively quickly and says Alan McLaren. No, that surprised me because when you first start in the chat, I immediately says Richard Gough. I forgot he was wearing a suit that night. So just giving the panel one more time to say thank everybody for tuning in. Kai, you want to say your goodbyes, mate?
I know it's a pleasure being on, mate. It's good to get my debut finally. Feels like it's been a while. But like I said, you guys have been doing a brilliant job. So thanks everyone for watching. Go subscribe to us on YouTube. There's lots of content coming. We've got a preview of the Benfica game coming on Sunday. Ross has done lots of brilliant work on that. You don't want to miss that. And then we're obviously back with the podcast on Monday night. We'll be talking about all things about the weekend. So go and check out the YouTube. There's lots coming, and obviously being biased, but I think the content's been brilliant so far. So thanks for watching.
Just to let everybody know that we're new show times, just so we're not really clashing with another Rangers podcast. It's going to be a Monday at 6:30 and a Friday at 7:30. Stevie, you want to say your goodbyes, mate? Good solid debut tonight, mate.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been great fun. I love the top of Rangers. Isn't it?
That's it. That's it.
Best subject going.
Bob?
I just want to thank everyone in the comments as well. I see it's been a good old chat tonight. Keeping an eye on it while we were discussing it there. So it was a good flow of a chat between everyone in the comments and everyone on the pod. Probably just like to thank everyone for watching, like, subscribe, share, get the Rangers Journal out there, and hopefully we can grow from strength to strength. And last thing for me is a personal one. Just shout out to my sister whose birthday it is today. So happy birthday, Judith. Hope you had a good day in Liverpool. And we'll see you when you get back.
Happy birthday, Judith, pal. So there's an interview with Kevin Thompson. It's just I think it was just come up on a channel yesterday or the day before. Everybody should go and get a watch. There's going to be hundreds of other content coming up, and if not, let's hope for a solid Rangers victory tomorrow and basically stay top of the league. Maybe even stretch a gap if we're lucky. Take care, folks. See you later.